Page 215, exercise 16.2. In this exercise, we're covering ragtime music. A little bit about ragtime music. The most famous composer for ragtime music, of course, was Scott Joplin, although there are many other composers and their music is worth looking at. But it's a lot of fun to play. One of the most famous pieces is this exercise shown on the next page. It's called The Entertainer. You can find all kinds of recordings. Most method books, piano method books, will use a simplified arrangement of this piece in one way or another. But as you can see, the actual way Joplin wrote it is a little more involved. But you can simplify it now if you have to. A few things to bring out here on ragtime music. Usually you think of ragtime music, you can think the left hand is going crazy because it's going to be moving a lot of left hand leaps. And this is where in time, if you play much of it, you will learn to feel these leaps. You won't even have to look at where your left hand is going. You'll just do it. And once you get to that point, it's really kind of fun. You think, wow, how am I doing this? I don't care, but it's fun, huh? So let's take a look at this piece, this entertainer piece on page 216, just briefly. Hopefully you understand everything you see in the music, but just in case, let me just point out a few things. The first measure, because the left hand is in the upper staff, because you see the LH there, although the stems would tell you it's left hand, you're way up here, and the words not fast. That's really important, because you will hear a lot of people zip through this. They just boom, 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 boom. And that's not what Joplin wanted at all. This is not a fast rag. There is lots of ragtime music that is fast, but this is not one of them. So don't get into the habit. You don't play this fast. Slow it down. It's just have fun with it. It's more like an allegretto speed. It's just a fun speed. The book suggests, and I agree, when you're going to tackle something like this, you take that left hand and get it learned. Because until you can do that left hand without having to think about it, you're going to have all kinds of struggles, because there's enough nonsense going on in the right hand that you need to focus on. So that left hand has to be almost automatic. Starting at measure 5, there in the second line, those leaps here, and again, I'm not using 5th finger on the chord, I'm using 4th finger, because I don't have to move the hand as much. So right there on measure 5, here to here, this is a chord, the whole thing together. So I don't even have to move the hand on that part. And then the next one I got to go down a little bit and up. But I would use 3, 2, 1. Okay, I don't want to move the hand anymore than I have to. And you got to learn to feel that. And then down here, you can do 4, 2, 1 or 3, 2, 1. It's up to you, because really this is the chord. Don't use 5, 3, 1. After you've done here, don't use your little finger again. So work out the fingering on here. So you can get this left hand comfortable. And then once you get the left hand comfortable, then you can think about adding the right hand. Of course, you need to go back and learn the right hand by itself first, starting at measure 5, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The rhythm itself is weird, but once you get the left hand quarter notes, you can see the correlation between the two hands. They start the same, and then you play the right hand, and then the left hand, and then the right hand. Now they're together. And now they're together again, and now the right hand. It's like, what? But you work it out slowly and you'll gradually get this rhythm. Now, on measure 6 and 7, these octaves, it's just 1, 2, 5 on all of them. As best you can. And if you're really struggling with that, it's like, I can't get that, they give you a simpler version above it. See those notes and the little staff above it? That's another way of playing it if you want. So rather than this, you can play it this. You can play it that way instead, maybe for a while. Eventually, if you really want to learn it right, you got to learn to play this other eventually. And then in measure 10 and 11 and 12, they give you another simpler way of playing it. If this is struggling, I use fourth finger on that C. If that's struggling for you, then you can play the little notes and the staff above it there. And they give you another one there, measure 17 is for the little thing. You can do that. Now when you get over to page 217, you got a lot of these thirds. If that's struggling with you, just play the top note. Eventually it'd be nice if you could play both notes. The last line there on page 217 on this, again, you just play the top note if you have to leave something out. So do the best you can with this. This is something you're not going to pick up in a day or two or a week or two. This is something you're going to work on for a while. Unless you're a prodigy, then you can probably sight read it. If you're a prodigy, you don't need my videos. So, Now you can pedal this, but don't legato pedal it. It needs to be kind of bouncy. Generally the pedal, you might connect you pedal it on the first and third beats and leave the rest so it's here. So you have to experiment with the pedal because you don't want to lose the bounciness and the cleanness of it. You can find editions of Joplin's ragtime music with the pedal indications according to how the editor thinks it should be, and go with that as a start, and then you can adjust it from there.